Now, before I start the video, I have one simple question. Would you buy the iPhone 15 Pro Max or the iPhone 15 Plus? Now, ever since Apple has introduced the iPhone 15 Plus lineup, many of us have been wondering as to whether or not we should get the iPhone 15 Pro Max or the iPhone 15 Plus. And in this video, I want to break down what each phone is good at based on various stages of use, so you can get an idea of which phone is actually better in terms of value. Now, the iPhone 15 Plus and iPhone 15 Pro Max are two phones that really have a lot in common. Both have really good hardware complemented with signature software. Both support the latest versions of iOS 17. Both have really good looking displays that are enhanced by Dynamic Island. And both have pretty high prices when compared to other phones. And looking at them by themselves, the iPhone 15 Pro Max has a 120Hz refresh rate and a telephoto camera, and the iPhone 15 Plus is basically the same phone. It does have a lower refresh rate, but other than that, both of these phones can go toe to toe. So even though these are really good phones that have many great things that were really good, they both had their downsides when it came to many different things, and today we will be taking a look into what each has to offer so it can help your decision on which one is actually worth it. So I will be comparing the iPhone 15 Plus and 15 Pro Max based on 5 different categories, starting with display, software, battery, speakers, and last but not least, cameras. Now, the first thing that I wanted to look at when comparing the iPhone 15 Plus and 15 Pro Max was the display. Now, the iPhone 15 Plus and iPhone 15 Pro Max both have a 6.7-inch Super Retina XDR display that are very comparable to each other as far as visual experience. The 15 Pro Max has a 120Hz refresh rate, while the 15 Plus has a 60Hz refresh rate, which basically means that whenever you're doing things like scrolling or moving through the software, the 15 Pro Max will feel much smoother, which really improves the quality. Now, when it comes to responsiveness, the 15 Plus and 15 Pro Max were pretty much the same, but again, the refresh rate feels much better, so if you put them side by side, the 15 Pro Max will feel a little bit better, but refresh rate aside, both phones were able to respond very quickly whenever I scroll or pressed on something, and they both felt very premium. Now, when it comes to the size of the displays, the Pro Max and Plus are exactly the same. You have a great viewing experience, both have big batteries, and they both look really good. But one thing that I will say is that no matter which one you go for, Apple has extremely slimmed down the bezels, and you'll get the most out of each screen. The 15 Plus has also added the Dynamic Island notch, which made the 15 Plus and Pro Max extremely similar, and I pretty much had the same opinion when it came to brightness. Both the 15 Plus and 15 Pro Max had really bright screens that were very easy to see, and both phones' auto brightness worked very well. And now the final thing that I liked about the 15 Pro Max and 15 Plus's display was the fact that they both had really great resolutions. Both phones had nice and vibrant colors, both phones had very sharp displays, and both phones gave me an overall great experience. So I would say that in terms of resolution when watching videos, it's pretty much tied. And to give you guys an idea of my experience with each phone, here's an example of me watching a video on each. Now, the next thing that I wanted to look at when comparing the iPhone 15 Pro Max and 15 Plus was the software. Now, when it came to software, I would say that the 15 Plus and Pro Max performed very well. They both did whatever I needed them to do very efficiently. And again, they both gave me the exact same experience all across the board. Both phones were able to handle software much smoother, animations were much better, and I rarely got lags, and I was very impressed since iOS 16 came with a ton of lags. But again, iOS 17 is running very smooth. And if I'm being honest, iOS 17 only felt better on the 15 Pro Max because it had a 120Hz refresh rate. So again, scrolling through the software felt a little bit smoother. Now, the next thing that I wanted to look at when comparing the iPhone 15 Plus and 15 Pro Max is the battery. Now, the battery on the 15 Plus and Pro Max were very identical. The 15 Pro Max was able to last me all day with 8 to 9 hours of on-screen time, and my 15 Plus will give me 8 hours as well. With the 15 Pro Max, I will end my days with about 25%, which was really good. And with the 15 Plus, the battery will be around the same, which was still really good. And I also didn't really use power saving mode, so both were able to keep up very well. When it came to charging speeds, both the 15 Plus and Pro Max were pretty much the same. The charging speeds were okay. I would usually charge them overnight, but whenever I charge them during the day, after about 30 minutes, they will usually be over 70%. So overall, I would say that the battery on both phones were really good. And if you're someone who is looking to get the 15 Plus or the 15 Pro Max, they both are extremely identical. Now, the next thing that I wanted to look at when comparing the iPhone 15 Plus and 15 Pro Max was the speakers. Now, when it came to bass, I would say that the Pro Max's speakers were a little bit better. It made listening to songs a little bit more enjoyable, and the 15 Pluses were still pretty good, especially compared to other phones in the market, but it still doesn't have the slight edge. The sound quality on both were also really good. Music sounded amazing, videos were loud and clear, and the speakers overall did a really great job, just like most iPhones. And to give you guys an idea of how both of the speakers sound, I'm going to play some music so you can see just how loud they are. Now, the last thing that I wanted to look at when comparing the iPhone 15 Plus and 15 Pro Max was the cameras. Now, the cameras on the 15 Pro Max and 15 Plus were pretty much the same when it came to quality. The 15 Plus and Pro Max had a 48 megapixel main camera backed by a 12 megapixel ultra wide and telephoto lens. And as we all know, both of these phones had the same camera, but I want to show you guys some pictures that I took with them so you can get an idea of how they look. Like right here, you can see my outside daytime photos, and I would say that these were really good pictures that turned out very well. The skies were very vibrant yet color accurate. The trees and other aspects of nature were very sharp. My face looked color accurate, and the overall vibrancy of the outside pictures were really great. Now, when we look at the daytime inside photos, I would say that they were also really great. Like right here, you can see that there was no graininess no matter how dark it got. And my selfies were top notch, just like most iPhones. On the 15 Plus, the quality was much better than last year. The sharpness was still great, and the colors were very accurate, which definitely redeemed the camera overall. And when it came to video quality, they both were great within their respective categories. And to give you guys an example, here are some videos that I took with it. So here's the final question. Should you buy the iPhone 15 Plus or the 15 Pro Max? Well, in my honest opinion, I think that the 15 Plus is easily the phone that people should buy. It's cheaper, it's the same size, and it gave me damn near the exact same experience, so it's a no-brainer. And when it comes to the Pro Max, most people won't use the telephoto camera, and most people don't really care about refresh rates, so 98% of people are more in tune with the 15 Plus. Now let me know down in the comments, which phone would you buy and why? And again, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Peace.